Hello everybody, welcome to the Wonky Angle, where I talk about electronic music, both new and old. And today, I'm talking about the new album from The Orb. COW/Chill Out World. The Orb are, as of right now, still Dr. Alex Patterson and Thomas Fellman, although there's been a lot of lineup changes over the years. I reviewed their previous album, Moon Building 2703 AD, last year. I highly recommend you go check out that review, but you may remember from that review that I consider The Orb to be one of my all-time favorite bands, despite A, noticeable similarity to my actual favorite band of all time, and B, a less than solid track record. Though, since it's been a while, I'll recap said track record by going down their discography so far. Classic, absolute must-listen, still their best work to date, also excellent. My introduction to The Orb, and while it wasn't love on first listen, it's still excellent as well. Not quite as good as the previous three, but still highly enjoyable. This is a masterpiece, and I will hear no word to the contrary. It's okay, I guess. Dr. Alex's influence is disappointingly understated here, but still got its moments. Classic, really wish they'd do more along these lines. Meh. The Orb and David Gilmour make a great combination. The Orb and Lee Scratch Perry make sense together, but not one of their better ones, to be honest. I don't think this is quite as deserving of the 8.7 I gave it, but it was definitely a return to form for them, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Maybe it's like 8.3 or 8.5 by now. Still, excellent album, definitely worth checking out. Which brings us here. This would be The Orb's 13th album to date. It has been a rocky road, but it's one that I've basically enjoyed all the way through. Even their meh stuff has plenty to like about it, in my opinion. The announcement of this album came as a surprise to me, since it had only been a year since their last one, and The Orb aren't known for consistent release schedules. I was a little skeptical about what I'd get here, to be honest. The Orb said this was going to be their most ambient album to date, and since they have no shortage of ambient material like Orbis Terrarum or Baghdad Batteries, or even Moon Building to some extent, I was wondering how they'd take this one into new territory, if at all. Not to mention, I had been hungering for something that was a little more fun and up-tempo rather than purely atmospheric, since they hadn't really done something like that in a while. So yeah, I admittedly wasn't quite as excited for this one as I was for Moon Building. But of course, being the longtime Orb fan that I am, I also couldn't just pass this one up either. I figured they had to at least have something interesting for me to hear. So, how did it turn out? Well, in some ways, it was basically exactly what I expected out of them. And yes, it's not really anything new for them either, but it was also a lot better than I went in expecting too. I was kind of afraid this album would be like Baghdad Batteries, which mainly came off to me as boring with a couple of standout moments, but COW's much more consistently good. Also, I am quite pleased to report that Dr. Alex's influence is much more pronounced than it was last time. This does place this album pretty close to Orbis Terrarum sound-wise, but hey, it's not a bad album to call back to. I'll try my best to go down track by track. Although, fair warning, this album blends together more than any of their other albums, even Moon Building. There's plenty of interesting sounds, yes, but no sound is particularly outstanding or super memorable. And if I don't have my brain turned on and pay close attention, then everything just passes by without me noticing much of anything. I think the album works better as a single 43-minute piece than it does 10 short ambient vignettes. Anyway, individual tracks. First, Consider the Lilies is our opener. Starts out pretty peaceful, like being in the middle of a sunny meadow, but builds up to a more typical Orb-style beat, and even bringing in some guitar sounds that kind of remind me of KLF's Chill Out. Actually, come to think of it, speaking of KLF, this album is actually a huge throwback to KLF's Chill Out. Like, I believe Dr. Alex was involved in the composition of that album. To what extent, I have no idea, but I mean, Jimmy Cauty was also one of the founding members of The Orb back in the very, very early days, but still, influence is huge here. Like, and, you know, now that does make more sense, because, you know, COW, cow, kind of like how the album cover of Chill Out was inspired by Pink Floyd's Adam Hart Mother, which has a cow on the cover. Although Chill Out has sheep instead. I'm getting way off track. Where was I? Wireless MK2. Starts out with a lot of filtered and reversed pianos courtesy of Roger Eno, along with distant trumpets and with a colder atmosphere, later bringing in some odd vibraphone noises, and everything just kind of fading into the distance. Siren 3 Orphe Mirror is a more somber track, based around what sounds like a heavily filtered church organ chord, and some other mysterious textures added in, and also some kind of sample of an orchestral soundtrack from like a 40s film noir. Not a ton of development, but it's a short track. 4 AM Exhale Chill Out World actually sounds a lot like the material they came up with for Moon Building. A lot of happy filtered pianos over a steady beat, staying fairly constant and unchanging for 3 minutes or so, with some more weird psychedelic and off-key noises piled on top before everything fades out into synth pad and a different, more abstract, like BT-ish beat comes in up later. Then ending almost kind of like something out of that new Tim Hecker album, albeit much further toned down. Fifth Dimensions has this huge atonal pad that kind of like the track Compania from Bicycles and Tricycles, but then bringing in some jungle sounds and slowly pulsating, giving me some more flashbacks to like Okie Dokie It's the Orb and Compact. Some kind of jazzy orchestral sample appears, and halfway through the track, all the bass in the mix just disappears, as if you're suddenly getting a big spotlight shown on you. And the rest just kind of floats around in an amorphous blob. Sex Panoramic Sex Heal is the shortest track on here, basically based around a guitar loop, reminiscent of the KLF's Madrugada Eterna from, well, Chill Out. Only still everything just fades away again. Seven Oaks sounds like a repeating sample from like a romantic TV show from the 70s over sounds of a car wash, and bringing in a piano and a weirdly pitched up sample that reminds me of something you'd hear on like a Michael Menor track. Just Because I Really, Really Love Ya is the only track on the album to not have any reference to its track number in its title, which is weird. Not sure what's so special about this track to merit that, but whatever. It has like more of a jungle feel to it or something, with crickets all over the place, dark synth strings, and weird abstract pitched 808 bongos. Oh, and harps. It's really dissonant and dark, unlike what the title would have you think. 9 Elms over River Eno, Channel 9, starts out with another grand orchestral sample that sounds like it accompanies the ending of a romance movie, then turning into a more moon-building style track later on, and then kind of combining the two sounds. Finally, the 10 Sultans of Rudyard Moo Moo Mix. I get it, because Justified Ancients of Moo Moo, KLF. Whatever. Well, it starts out with the sounds of an orchestra warming up, birds tweeting, later turns into like an Eno-esque piano track, which is fitting because it's Roger Eno on the piano. So there's a lot going on in this album, even plenty of Dr. Alex's radio voice sampling throughout. But again, none of the samples really make anything stand out, kind of like that sample from the beginning of God's Mirror Ball from Moon Building, which had that sample of somebody saying, if you believe in evil, you need a whack on the back of a neck with a big fucking stick. I don't really remember what any of the voice samples on the album say off the top of my head. I think one talks about Channel 9, and that's it, because that's like in one of the titles. And I think that's kind of my biggest criticism with this album. It's truly fascinating and has the same attention to detail you'd expect out of The Orb if you pay close attention, but nothing like really grabs you. The orchestral sample from 9 Elms over River Eno is the only thing I could remember directly after listening to the album, and even that got replaced by the beginning of God's Mirror Ball after a few minutes. All the rest just disappeared from my brain immediately after the 43 minutes were up. I mean, it's a beautiful album to be sure, and one I enjoy basically every moment of, but The Orb have done this kind of thing before, and quite frankly, they've done it better too. The reason why I rated Moon Building so highly when that came out is because it wasn't a rehash. I liked how they were actually pushing themselves into new territory and providing such a unique listening experience. That being said, I'd be lying if I said this was a complete rehash. I appreciate how the Orb are going in more ambient directions and having fun in that way. I was just hoping for something that stuck in my head a little longer than this. Maybe more listens in the future will help that. Well, it didn't blow me away. I don't consider it to be one of their better albums as of late. Moon Building was much better. This is still an intricately textured album that Patterson and Feldman clearly put a lot of time and effort into, and one that I enjoyed in all the same ways that I enjoy the Orb's other ambient material. Maybe even more immersive than usual. And hey, that's basically all I was trying to do, so good on them, as usual. Just hoping for something maybe more, punchy next time. I'm overall feeling a 7.3 out of 10. But of course, this is just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, so leave the comments in the comment thing down there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all for today. See you next time.